What's up, guys? Eli here, back for a new stuff video. Got a whole bunch of stuff, that's random shit that's accumulated, including a awesome package from our good buddy Rick over at the Dreadful Minutes. Yeah, should be a good time. I got kind of a lot of stuff to show, I guess. If you want to go grab something to drink, have a drink with me. Cracked a Pacifico. Just kind of a go-to cheap light lager, I guess. That's kind of my thing when it comes to beer. I like it. Nothing amazing, but yeah, always hits the spot, especially in the summertime. Anyway, so first thing he sent me, that's not it, was this really cool goat horse shirt. He just had an extra one lying around. It had never been worn. Very cool. We're both kind of big goat horse fans. They always do such a good job with their merch too. I mean, I've had a number of goat horse shirts over the years. I still do. Alright, yeah. Sent me a couple cassettes here. Both bands that I wasn't familiar with. This first one is, from what I've read, like a black doom metal out of the US here. Torvis. Ooh, that lighting leaves a little to be desired, doesn't it? It's very dark, blurry cover art anyways, so yeah. Dubbed tape. Stoked to listen to that. He also sent me this Kaltz's Blut, The Lost Art of Twilight. Another black metal band out of the US. I know what you're thinking, and no, that isn't Necrolord cover art. I did research it. So if you wanted Necrolord to do cover art for your band, and maybe you couldn't afford him, maybe you could look this guy up. I don't know. Two guys. Like I said, black metal. I think it was out of the US. Haven't listened yet, but stoked. He sent me a CD as well. Black metal. I thought this was also out of the US. I could be wrong about that. Definitely black metal, though. We got Unholy Tenebris with Bloodorn. Narcoleptica Productions. Yeah, not familiar with that label. Looks like it says number 1 out of 100 copies. Yeah, have not listened to it yet. Well, no, I take that back. I sampled a little bit of this really fast black metal. Holy shit. Black metal turned up just hyper speed, at least on the first song. Just so fast. The drumming, Jesus. Yeah, insanely fast black metal. Like I said, I only listened to the first song. Fucking, the rest could be slow, who knows. He sent me this, I think this is a movie. No, I think this is a TV show. Yeah, season 1. Misfits, not the band Misfits, but the show. Sounds very cool. I think, I want to say I've heard of it. I'm not positive. I definitely have never seen it, so stoked for that. But I like this first season. I'll probably, pursue some of the others. Looks like it was originally aired on the BBC. Stoked to watch that. Sent me a couple vinyl records. He must have caught on that I'm a big George Carlin fan, so he sent me this classic Carlin stand-up vinyl. Love George Carlin. So he sent me Genesis Abacab, which was a bold move on his end because, yes, I did already have it, but as many of you know, if any of you guys are into Genesis, you know that they made at least 3 or 4, maybe more, different covers. So I had already 2 of them. I'm not necessarily trying to collect them all, it just keeps happening. So I also have this one. It's not a great cover, but whatever. As you can see, they're all different. I have that one. So... Sure. Do I need 3 copies of Abacab? No, but I got it. Okay, he also sent me a couple comic books. These are fucking really cool. This Agent 13, these are both like, well, this is a graphic novel, aka trade paperback. This Agent 13 is badass. I don't know why this guy in the front looks like the Green Hornet. I think that's Agent 13. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't read this yet. I've just flipped through, and the cover art is beautiful. It's this era of comic books that I definitely miss. I mean, this is just painstakingly drawn, just full of detail and everything you want in a comic book. Awesome. He also sent me this Unknown Worlds of science fiction. I love old shit like this. I honestly, I have very little of these kinds of things in my collection. My collection's mostly 80s and onwards. And even at that, probably mostly early to mid 90s. But yeah, look at that cover art, so cool. All black. This is old. I didn't look at the date. All black and white. Again, though, just like that last one, beautifully drawn. Yeah, can't wait to actually read the storyline. That was kind of the reason Rick sent these to me. He wanted me to read them and get my take on it. Stoked to read those. That is it for the stuff from Rick. The rest of this is, I mean, these are all just random pickups. I got this shirt from Hell's Headbangers recently. It was a little expensive. I feel like their shirts are getting kind of pricey. I just kind of wanted to, like, I have this shirt already in white. I think my last video I was wearing it. That shirt's slowly starting to fall apart, so I wanted to just get ahead of the game, replace it before it's too late. Got this Unchain the Wolves black shirt. My other one, like I said, was white. So I assumed it was the exact same shirt as my white one, just in black instead of white. It's got a different back, which I won't show because the back on this shirt's a little spicy. It's a little spicy. I don't think I'm going to show it here. But let's just put it this way: I'm unsure if I want the type of attention that would bring if I wore it out in public. Maybe if I have a jacket on over it or something. Yeah. What can you do? All right, moving on to some other random stuff. This is all, I mean, these are all just random pickups. I bought these from different places at different times. Picked up a couple of DVDs at a local media store. Hell's Headbanger sticker, by the way. New design, or at least new to me. Very cool. So yeah, I had not, I don't think, seen any of these. Most of these. So, Fortress, directed by Stuart Gordon. Stuart Gordon doing non-horror. This is just kind of like a sci-fi movie, sci-fi action. I found it quite enjoyable. Kind of terrible. Maybe not the best acting. It's definitely a low budget, but I mean, they did pretty well with what they had. I found it pretty enjoyable. This next one I had wanted to see since it came out, to be honest, but I totally forgot about it. This was written by James Gunn, who I'm a big fan of. Written and produced by James Gunn. The Belko Experiments. Yeah, stoked to watch that one. It's just, like I said, I had been wanting to see it since it came out a couple years back. This right here, I just going based off the cover, I didn't, to be honest, know what it was. I don't know if this is the colored version of the original Night of the Living Dead, but my copy of Night of the Living Dead is kind of sucky. So I picked this one up for like $2. Like I said, I don't know if that's just kind of a modern looking cover or if this is the version that is colored. I don't actually see anywhere on the back where it says. Now this is black and white. Okay, so I guess it's just the regular original movie, but a little bit nicer of a version than the one I had. Bought this one fucking purely upon, this is just an impulse buy. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be terrible. Dark Hall. Tom Sizemore is in this. I don't know. It's a Scream Factory release. It's a Sci-Fi Channel original movie, which right there, probably not a good sign, but I don't know, man. I think I got this for $2 or $3. And this movie I bought just because I've just wanted to see this for a long time. Jesus Christ, probably since I was a little kid. Never got around to fucking seeing it. Critters. We all most of us have seen this, or we all have at least heard of it. Kind of a classic 80s, monster movie. Never seen it. Finally, I can. Yeah. That's it for the movies. I made a small order through Roy over at Necroharmonic Productions. He had a couple CDs I just thought I'd snag before they're gone, because Usually his stuff, once it sells out, he doesn't usually repress it. So I picked up this old Incantation live album, Rotting Spiritual Embodiment. This is a live show from the early days with the, I don't know if it's, I'd say the original lineup, but like the classic lineup. I guess this is a joint release between Deathgasm, Ibex Moon, and Necroharmonic. Haven't listened to it yet, but yeah. Incantation live album. I love Incantation. I figured, why not? I also got this Dripping compilation. Dripping, kind of brutal death metal stuff from New Jersey. I don't think they're active anymore, but Bring the Suffering. This is a compilation with 2 demos, Dripping and Cadaverment. Show the back. It's got a lot of songs on here. There's at least like 30 songs. So that's cool. I'd only ever heard one of Dripping's full-length albums years back, and I actually quite liked it, so. I still need to buy cases for these next 2. We got Mercoup. I can never, ever say this band name. Ukupurulent. Something like that. Death Grind out of, I think, Germany. This is a demo compilation. Looks like might have a full length on here. Anyways, it's a compilation of a lot of the band's early shit. I don't listen to a lot of gore grind, so I just bought this on a fucking whim. This band is called Gut, with the Comeback. Yeah, like I said, not really familiar with that band. Figured it'd probably be something I could at least get into, especially for $3 or $4. I mean, yeah. Got some other random CDs here. Just picked up this one yesterday. This is a re-release just from this year of this band's debut album from 2005, Dark Psychosis with Obsessed by Shadows, released by Moribund Records. This is pretty much a one-man project. It pretty much always has been. I mean, he's had a couple other members in here and there. Zaffin, prominent figure from the Michigan, early 90s Michigan black metal scene. There's our boy right there. He's been in a lot of cool bands over the years, including Dark Psychosis. Read a really good review of this band. I have one of their earlier albums, and I like it okay. I never really thought I liked it enough to pursue more of their discography, but I stumbled across a review of this album that was really good, and I figured I'll pick it up, and I got it real cheap. Got the Moody Blues with Long Distance Voyager in 1981. I'm always really fascinated to see what the prog bands of the 70s did, and these guys were actually around these guys have been around since like the mid to late 60s. But anyways, yeah, it's always cool to see what those bands do in the new era of the 80s, because all the prog bands kind of had their own story. It's just always cool to see what direction they went in, because I've talked about it here many times. Prog, once the 80s hit, prog was not a mainstream cool thing like it was in the 70s, and all those bands kind of had to change and adapt, and yeah. Promo copy of this Necromancer album that I've never owned. I've only ever heard here and there, maybe a few times. Never really loved it or anything, but I also never really gave it a lot of attention. So, promo copy of The Sound of Lucifer Storming Heaven. Necromancer, classic Greek black metal. This is their 3rd full-length album from 2007. One of the more recent, quasi-recent albums from King Crimson, we got Thrak. I've only really ever known about this one, even just like within the last couple weeks. When did this come out, by the way? 95. So, yeah. I'm not well versed on 90s King Crimson. Will be interesting to hear and see what the fuck it sounds like. Also picked up this debut album from Liquid Tension, Experiment. Not real big on like instrumental prog stuff, but every now and then I'd always heard really cool things about this. I used to be a big Dream Theater fan back in my younger days. This was released on the Magna Carta label. Only thing I own off, from that label, to be honest. So Liquid Tension Experiment were basically the entire band, Dream Theater, minus their bass player, and instead they got Tony Levin from King Crimson on bass, which is awesome. Tony Levin's great. Yeah, and then, like I said, you have almost all of Dream Theater. Maybe it sounds like Dream Theater, maybe it doesn't, I don't know. Randomly picked up this Satanic Slaughter compilation. Never owned anything from them. You might remember these guys from Sweden back in the mid 90s. This came out in 2001 on Necropolis Records, which I've said before is a label that I really dig, and I'll pretty much pick up anything from Necropolis. This is considered it is a compilation, the early years, Dawn of Darkness. It is literally just their first 2 full lengths, which, like I said, I didn't have either of those, so very cool. This next one's funny because I didn't know it existed. I've been getting real hard into this band over the last handful of years, and I just literally, I don't know how I overlooked it. I've never heard of this album. Didn't know it existed. Loister Cult, The Revolution by Night. This came out in '83. Yeah, kind of blew my mind. I just never heard of it. And that's it for the CDs. We got a couple other cool things like this Woods of Infinity EP, Frozen Nostalgia. Came out on Obscure Abhorrence Productions. Came out a little bit, I don't know, maybe middle of the band's discography, something like that. Woods of Infinity, black metal out of Sweden. Always controversial. They pretty much thrived. They're not around anymore, but they pretty much thrived on pushing people's buttons. That is just what they did. It's hard to. It was, at least for me, it was hard to ever know what they were being tongue-in-cheek about and what they were being serious about. I don't know. Maybe I just don't get it. I don't know if there's a fine blurry line. I don't know. But they were definitely a band that, like I said, they thrived off shock value. Yeah. But that said, they made some of the best black metal I've ever heard. They have one album in particular. I don't remember what it's called, but I love it. So good. Got this on vinyl. This is an original pressing as well. Venom, From Hell to the Unknown. It's a compilation. So it's got Welcome to Hell, their debut album. It's a double gatefold, but yeah, it's got side 1 side 1 and 2. Is the entire Welcome to Hell album. Very cool, right? And the second vinyl, so side 3 and 4, are it's just a compilation. But yeah, very cool. And I also bought a couple comics. Was at a comic store the other day, and I'd been meaning to kind of get some new comics. Just grab a few. It'd been a couple years since I bought any kind of new comics. Saw this and it looked really cool. This is the first issue of this. I've never heard of Blue Juice Comics, but this is Billy the Kit. Very cool art. Obviously, based around the animal kingdom, all animals. I've always had a thing for comics with, the characters are animals instead of people. It's actually quite bloody and violent. Beautifully drawn. There's blood and violence in this, definitely. And never heard of this. It's still fairly new, but this new Batman series, Batman Reptilian, written by my boy Garth Ennis, one of the best writers in comics. These are a little pricey. They were $5 a piece, but I love Garth Ennis, and the artwork in here is just so cool. So issue 1, issue 2 looks quite a bit darker for Batman fare. I mean, Batman is no stranger to darkness. There's always been some dark shit in Batman comics, but this is definitely a return to that. So stoked to to read through those. Anyways, that's all I got, guys. Talk to me about stuff. Talk to me about any of this. Talk to me about your life. I don't give a shit. Anyways, thanks for stopping by. Louis says hello, and we will talk soon. Cheers.